Governor Braun joins us now. Welcome, sir, and thanks so much for coming on National Report. This is what seems to be the second event of this nature where we saw RFKJ. He was also in West Virginia and Indiana, also welcoming in HHS Secretary. Can you tell me more about what was unveiled yesterday in the efforts to make your state healthier?
Thanks for having me on your show. It's a refreshing kind of change of pace. Running a state from the 6 years I spent in the Senate where we talked about a lot of this stuff. So making Indiana healthy, the country again, I got to go back to 17 years ago when I was sick and tired of the expensive remediation in my own company's healthcare plan. I sat in on that renewal meeting. Coming out of it, when I found out how much the insurance companies were making on my small business plan, and when I got out of them, that if we'd actually promote wellness and prevention as opposed to expensive remediation, we cut costs by over 50%, not had premium increases now in 17 years because we've turned our employees into healthcare consumers. They own their own well-being. That is what Make America Healthy Again is about. And when we promote poor nutrition through some of our government programs, that's got to change. Not only are we doing taking candy and snacks and processed foods off the list of what you can spend SNAP benefits on in Indiana, we're doing studies to promote fitness. We're looking at chronic illness. We're trying to get things from the root cause and make sure that programs in Indiana, and thank goodness they're now doing it on the federal level, are about preventing and promoting wellness because it would cut costs just like it did in my own insurance plan many years ago.
Yeah, you talked about the federal response. Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. speaking at the event, pushing to improve the health, not just of your state, Governor, but across the entire nation. Watch this.
Don't want the federal government making decisions about lifestyle issues if the state can do it, because the governor is capable. He knows his people. And you can go down the path because the most important person in the entire hierarchy is the mom, because she knows you win the battle for health in the home.
My uncle was president. We spend zero on chronic disease, zero in this country. We're spending about $1.3 trillion a year, and we can't afford it. And we have to figure out new ways to make America, to allow Americans to take responsibility and agency for their own health.
And I wanted to ask you about that because a part of that speech is talking about obesity rates here in the United States and the comparison made to Asia and obesity rates there. Perhaps you can speak to that, and maybe is there a goal in mind for this country when speaking to Dr. Oz or RFK Jr.?
I think what he was talking about there is when you look at other cultures where the whole approach to diet is different, fitness and exercise along with it. And also we're hearing there's a thing called federalism. You know, in the Senate, you needed 60 senators and you got nothing done. And you've got 2 points of view, hard to reconcile. You got 50 states, laboratories of doing these kinds of things. So finally, you know, we're going broke at the national level with no discipline in our budget. We don't get policies done. Turn it over to enterprising governors. And yes, if you've got issues in your own state, Indiana has some of the highest healthcare costs with some of the poorest outcomes. And yes, we got to change things like obesity, smoking, some of the things smart insurance plans do in their own business. So you're not going to get that done at the federal level. Let us governors have a chance at showing how you do it. It'll spread among the other states. Maybe we won't need to rely on the federal government to do as much because they don't do much very well.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.